All right, what's up, my friends? Welcome to my Pro Tour Kamigawa Neon Dynasty Championship match analysis. Hi, Mounty, how you doing? And we're going to be doing day 2 of the tournament here. Undefeated in the Swiss. Day 1's a different video. Missed that one. And we're doing all my day 2 feature matches here. We're going to be going over all of them at 1.25x speed. And we're going to be commentating on them and analyzing my play and going from there. We're going to do day 2 right now. There I am. Damn, serious Jim, sexy. And we got a match here. I am on the top this time. Nope, I'm on the bottom. They have it backwards. Whatever. This thing's backwards. They have the thing backwards, but whatever. I'm on the bottom here, and this is an alchemy match. Of course, this event was alchemy and historic. It was 3 rounds of alchemy, 4 rounds of historic on day 1. And day 2 is 4 rounds of alchemy into 4 rounds of historic. So this is round number 8, the first round of day number 2. I am playing the Grixis Kiki deck in alchemy. DePraz is playing a control deck, I believe. I don't remember exactly. And I'm sorry, DePraz is playing Jeskai Hinata, the deck that tries to put Hinata in play and play Magma Opus. Also just a control deck, basically, too. So opening hand here is great. Couldn't ask for more. I believe we're waiting for Jean Manuel to make a mulligan choice, but our hand's obviously good. Voltage Surge, while not great in a control matchup, can kill Hinata, which is cool. I've got turn 2 Rahilda. I've got a Planeswalker. Hand's a little clunky, but it's hard to ship a handless back. So, real big tank here for Jean Manuel here. I want to remind you all, if it's the first time hit that follow button, watching on YouTube, make sure you like, comment, subscribe. I'm doing tons of content about my undefeated run at the Kamigawa Neon Dynasty Championship and my first ever Pro Tour Top 8, deck techs, match reviews, and everything else. Look for all that on my YouTube. And yeah, you're all great. I love you all. Make sure you follow and subscribe, follow and stuff. Kaylee, new subscriber, what's your name? Where you from? Thanks so much. Sage Dog Connoisseur is insane. Yes, insane. I'm not sure why we're only looking at my screen right now, coverage-wise, but I don't know. Whatever. What are you going to do? So, draw Haunted Ridge, totally fine. Play Marsh tapped. Again, this alchemy deck is based on Rahilda, Kiki Jiki, enchantment, and Kaido the Planeswalker. It's a mid-range kind of a snowbally mid-range deck where it's mid-range, but like it has a lot of engines too. So draw power, word kill. Up. Now we're flipped. There we go. Now they got it the way they wanted it. So we're gonna see. I'm on top. I'm on top. So play Rahilda, and good to go here. Rahilda obviously must be killed, or it gets to do some pretty nasty stuff. Celeste is for Jean Manuel here because it's gonna be pretty good. Obviously, fixing mana. Ramping pretty good. Also makes awkward use of the day-night cycle. Rahilda hits a Hinata, which I can't cast yet. And now I've drawn a few more 4s, unfortunately, so I don't actually have a play this turn. I got 3 4-drops. Power Word and Surge can both kill Hinata, which is pretty good, but not quite there yet. We go to Knight, which is good for my Outlaw, bad for Celestis. We see a loot for Jean Manuel. This event uses the chess clock on Arena. So all matches are chess clock times. Your time runs out, you lose. Loot away, smashing, draw iteration. And again, no answer yet to this Feral Outlaw. But again, an awkward spot because I have a lot of 4s. They are good though. Connoisseur is one of the best cards in the deck. Soren's pretty good as well, but kind of a weird matchup because it's more of like a combo control matchup than a regular control matchup. I think the control matchup for this this Grixis deck is really, really good. Kaido's insane. The duresses are really good. The counterspells are really good. But Jean Manuel's deck here is more of like a combo control deck, where once they resolve a Magma Opus with a Hinata in play, I don't think I can really grind anymore. So a lot of pressure on me to kind of like get the ball rolling and do some damage. So we see iteration go off. Feral Outlaw still there. I draw a Trespasser, which is reasonably solid. Of course, I also know it's open deck list that Jean Manuel has multiple just Jawari disruption in their deck. So I could play a 4-drop here. If it gets disrupted, it's pretty bad for me. And right now, we've already seen some loots and some iterations and not a kill spell. So it's kind of like, what else could Jean Manuel have here? So I think for a bit, I could play my own Hinata, which is kind of sweet because it's their card. It's a free card. And it does actually turn off their Hinata by like negating the effect, which is kind of cool. So big tank here. Do I want to play around a disruption or not? And I honestly don't recall what I do here because Graveyard Trespasser is pretty good. Part of the allure of Trespasser, though, is that it is a wolf. So if I attack with it later, I can play the Hinata, even if they kill my Rahilda. So I go for Connoisseur. I get disrupted. I think this is fine. You know, it's kind of like, all right, whatever. My hand's full of 4s anyway, and I want to play the next turn. So Jean-Emmanuel draws the Flame Blast Bolt, which is pretty good, obviously. Now they have an answer to my Rahilda. They play their Goldspan Dragon, which is also pretty good. And now things are pretty bad for me. You know, I missed that 3-drop turn. I got my 4-drop 4 spiked. And now a threat is down and my board is empty. So not ideal. Not ideal. A lot of mana for Jean-Manuel as well here because now just like hard casting Magma Opus is like definitely a thing that happened too. So draw Fable. Yes, Power War Kill cannot kill Goldspan Dragon. Voltage Surge can kill it if I can get a artifact in play, which the Fable can do. So tough spot. Because the problem in this game is that I'm kind of just like stuck on mana, where I have a lot of 4-drops, I'm stuck on 4 lands. I just can't really deploy my stuff here. So play Connoisseur, hit a Windfall, which is pretty good. But now Hinata's there, a Braid is there. And the problem is that now Goldspan Dragon's just cracking away. And yes, the Connoisseur gives an artifact also. So now I have an artifact for Voltage Surge, which is pretty good. So now Surge can kill Goldspan Dragon and Power Word Kill can kill Hinata. The problem is there's enough mana now where just hard casting Magma Opus is definitely a thing that can happen. And that's a very hard thing for me to beat. Thanks, Jure. I appreciate it. So, gotta imagine we're just going to see Hinata here. Hinata also makes the spells that I cast cost 1 more that target things, which is kind of annoying as well, but have enough mana to do both. So untap and draw Kaido. And unfortunately, I can kill both things here, barring a counterspell. And there were 3 main deck negates in John Emmanuel's deck, as well as Valorous Stance, which is not ideal. You know, but realistically, I just have to try and kill things here. So, I can go for Surge and Power Word Kill. If Jean Emmanuel had the Opus, they would have upkeep Opused me. So, I'm pretty sure they don't have that. So I can wait till their upkeep to do things so they can already counter my spells. I'm just going to go for it now, though, apparently. Not sure. You know, it's kind of neither here nor there. Upkeep versus their turn. They have the negates a little better, but they have enough mana to do stuff anyway. So I'm just going to go for the... Also, I think the reason why I do this now is they have Memory Deluge in their deck also. So if I say go, let them untap and try and kill it. If they have exactly negate in hand, it's good. But if they have a card draw spell, they could, in theory, draw into a counter spell and then counter it. So we should go for it on my turn. But now with the Notagon, I decided to say go and then upkeep kill. Past Jim's smarter than current commentary, Jim. I don't know why I did that exactly, but whatever. I'm sure it's smart. Drew asks in chat, I prefer open deck list or closed deck list. I prefer closed deck lists personally, but open deck list is fine too. I do agree that you know, it's hard to have fun surprises with the closed deck list. So we see Celestis draw a Stroke here, which is pretty good because I have a lot of 4s in my hand, obviously. So Rahilda in this deck is much better than it was in my old Rakdos deck, because my old Rakdos deck was like a 2-for-1 deck. You just wanted every card to be a 2-for-1. This deck's more of an engine deck. Kaido, Fable of the Mirror Breaker, and Rahilda, they're all the kind of card where once they get going, they just don't stop and they snowball really, really hard. So this is more of an engine deck than a straight 2-for-1 kind of Jundee deck. So play Trespasser. It is nighttime, which is cool. Get a 4-4 in play, which is pretty sweet. Do some damage. And we see some Celestis action. And now we're actually in like kind of decent shape. Because we have Trespasser, we have a lot of cards. We've been mana screwed basically all game. Unable to cast all of our 4-drops every turn. But we still have a lot of cards in our hand. We have Glutton down. The problem is we're kind of in this world right now where like if Jean-Manuel ever draws a Magma Opus, we're pretty screwed. But our clock is reasonable here. And now that the Wolf attacks, I also get to play the Hinata here too, which is kind of awesome. Of course, the Stroke's going to say something about that, but Stroke obviously good against my 4-land, all 4-drop hand, but so decided to go for Hinata here, I believe. Again, I don't get a chance to cast this if my Wolf dies, and it's a free card basically. So there's a Stroke, whatever, not that bad honestly. Another Crossroads. We see the problem here is also the Celeste is just looting and looting and looting to try and find this magma opus. Discards a land. Decides to say go. And could have played Smashing as a land and play a cast Goldspan Dragon. Decided not to. I draw another land. But again, the werewolf still chipping away here. Again, super awkward that I just can't play more than one spell a turn. But it is what it is. Here comes the Glutton. Glutton's hungry. At this point, also, I believe, Jean's like 25 cards deep and still hasn't found an opus yet, which is definitely lucky for me. But there goes the Glutton. And we get 5 to 17 life totals. And deciding what I want to play here again. Already seeing the stroke. Gonna go for Talent Razor, which is the biggest thing. Could also attack through all of Jean Emmanuel's things. So if they play a Nada or a Goldspan, I can attack with it. I can't get it braided, stuff like that too, so they're pretty sweet. So we see a iteration drawn. There is currently enough mana here for Smashing to kill both of these at a discard cost, which is pretty good. I will say that Graveyard Glutton was very, very good for me. Very, very good in this tournament. Big fan of that card. I don't know if the Smashing or Opus bug ever came up. It was pretty obscure. Like, it wasn't nearly as bad as they announced it to be. It was sort of just like, if you cast an Opus, but there's like a thing on the stack and it fizzles or something like that. It was a really weird bug. So, Smashing pretty good there, obviously, but the land is still burning, which is great. It also caused the treasures to get used too. So now, Jean's back down to only 5 mana. So now Opus is not a top deck anymore, which is great. I draw another non-land, so now it's turned like 120, and I still have 4 lands in play. But this unfortunately stops me from double spelling, but now I can resolve Storm, which is pretty good. Getting the flyer's fine, forces the pressure to attack it. Again, I would love a double spell here if I drew a land. I would love to go like Harvester and Fable, or Rahilda and Fable, but just can't, so... Think for a bit. Decided to just go for Sorin. Sorin, make a flyer. And say go. Of course, the turn after all the land's gone, all the mana's gone, an Opus is drawn. But Goldspan goes after Sorin because it has to. Makes treasure, which is scary. And tap and draw a pathway. So now I have the mana, which is good. The problem, of course, is the Opus is there, and it's castable. So attack, 19 to 3. And now I need to decide if I want to play Kaido, do I want to play Harvester, Rahilda, Fable. I think this turn is Rahilda plus Fable. Put the most things on the board possible. Thanks for following, Anna. If you haven't followed the stream with that follow button, of course, watching on YouTube, make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Again, match analysis of my Pro Tour undefeated streak in the Swiss. So there's Fable, there's Rahilda. And now, even though Opus can kill a bunch of stuff, Fable's going to start going as well here. So I get to loot some cards away, get the Fable engine going, which is nice. Thanks, Condor. Appreciate it. Draws a Deluge. Now, the cards are flowing here, and the mana from Goldspan Dragon is pretty tough.
Nice work at the championship gym to deal with it.
Thanks, appreciate it. So Goldspan Dragon attacks here, and this looks so bad for me because it's just so obviously Magma Opus that I'm not happy. If you can't see my my reaction shot here, but I am not too happy. It's pretty clearly Magma Opus. So Goldspan attacks, and now Opus can tap things, kill things. He can kill both 2/2s and tap the flyer. And he can tap a land also. So a little harder to cast things. But again, I still have a pretty decent board here. And, 4 life isn't a ton. So tap land, vampire, kill feral outlaw goblin. Draw 2, make a 4/4. All pretty good. Draws Valor Stance as well. I draw a pathway. And now I get to see some loot action. Decided to discard Kaido and Fable because at this point, like, I need to draw cards that affect the game right now and not a turn or two from now. So, discard those two. We draw a land, of course, because I haven't drawn land the entire game. Makes sense, I guess. And unfortunately, I just couldn't apply enough pressure this game. So, we'll have Kiki available next turn. Play Harvester. You can blood away a land here. Of course, blooding away a land means I can't use the Harvester to kill things if I draw another blood source. I also kind of want the Harvester in play for the Fable, so draw another Smashing, which is pretty good. It's pretty good. So now I'm pretty sure we can just see Smashing on both creatures. I think I'm just dead in 2 turns here, unfortunately. So the game was looking pretty good, but I just couldn't deploy my stuff fast enough. So here come the 4/4s. Here comes the Smashing. And pretty good. And now we get to blood a land. So we can see sort of the power of Jean Emmanuel's deck as opposed to a normal control deck, where the ability to kind of like Dragon, Opus Dragon, and kind of just like turn the corner real fast. I draw a land. What was that? That was weird. And at this point, I'm just dead. You know, I get 2 lands in hand, double iteration now, and Deluge and Stance for. I'm just super dead here. So gonna let him kill me and go into game number 2. Kind of a sucky game 1. You know, just couldn't really get there. Just put stuff a little bit too slowly. But sideboard wise, I get the board in some disable strokes, really really good, and duress is just great. Go from there. All right, so go for the attacks. I got a chump block. Or should I braid? Never mind. Sure. So kind of tough. Obviously, draw like 4 or 5 lands in a row there. I've not drawn lands in the early game, but that's magic sometimes. So down a game here. There I am. Not sure why my picture is so large, but I'll take it. I'm dead sexy. Manny and Alias. Skip ahead here, some sideboarding. And you can see here, I'm cutting my Flame Best Bolts, cutting my Abrades. They don't actually kill anything. I actually cut the Sorin. Now, normally Sorin's a good card against control decks, but the reality is that I can't really afford to play a super long game against them. I need to be able to just apply some pressure and kill them before they can get Opuses off. So, decided to cut the Sorin, cut the bad removal spells. I bring in 2 Duresses, so I have 4 total. Soul Transfer is a super awesome card that can kill the larger creatures. And, of course, Stroke's going to be awesome as well, being able to counter everything from Hanada to Opus. So, big one there. And Jean-Manuel boards out Celestis, Windfall, Abrade, wow, Stances, and brings in the Eggs and some removal spells. 1 stroke of their own, too. Going up to 2 strokes. Interesting. All right, so game number 2 down a game. First match of day 2. The only 2 remaining undefeated players, myself and John Emmanuel DePras. And I draw a hand that's Duress, Power Word, Kill Trespasser. Good hand. Very good hand, honestly. Threat, Duress, and a way to kill the first Sonata, which is great. And Jeskai hand not looking too good here. Just 2 lands. Kill spells, but no blue. Probably a mulligan, I would assume. Mulligans to double Opus, double Shatter Skull, 3 lands. Not a very good hand, but probably a keep. Probably a keep, all things considered. Bottom's Smashing. We fire off the Duress, and we see the hand. And some hand, you know, decides to take an Opus here. Taking Smashing and trying to, like, Mana Scrim is a ridiculous notion, I think. And we got to get these Opuses out of hand. They're going to come up eventually. And once 1 is gone, then another Duress or Connoisseur can take the next one also. So, take an Opus here and leave a pretty barren hand. Iteration is a great draw. Probably the best draw. Why Power Word Kill? Power Word Kill kills Hanada. There are 4 Nadas in the deck, and it's a card that must be killed. So, got to keep Power Word Kills in. Only 2 Goldspan Dragons, so... So, draw land. Not ideal, but fine. Again, iteration, probably the best possible draw for Depraz here. Let's play lands. There you go. Get Trespasser online. Trespasser is obviously very good because it is hard to kill, which is nice. Play lands. There you go. We draw Duress, which is sweet. No reason to really cast Duress yet, though. Gonna play Trespasser. We know we want to try and hit that second Mabga Opus, so Trespasser comes down. Can go to Knight, which is awesome. Hard to kill, which is great. Brutal Blast to draw, so I can kill the Trespasser. So, pretty good draws for Depraz here. You see a white land and a passive a turn. So, wanting to use Brutal Blast here to kill this now 4/4 Glutton. I draw Fable, which is a great draw, because now I can Duress and play a 3-drop, which is awesome. Seeing the thing I couldn't do in the first game, which is Double Spell. So fire on the attack. Gonna eat nothing here. No real graveyard stuff matters for either of these decks. So fire off a Duress. And now it's an interesting question of Brutal Blast or no. If it resolves, will I take the Blast? Will I take the Iteration or the Opus? John Emanuel doesn't know what my next play is here. I play another good threat, then Brutal Blast is pretty important. So tough choice. Tough choice. Think I take Iteration here. Just because it's the best card in hand, and it's the card that allows the most forward progress. Right now I have 2 good threats in place. I don't really care if one of them dies. And Opus is still a ways away regardless. So take the Iteration, play the Fables, they go. Now I have 2 good threats in play, which is great. Or 3, I guess 3 actually. I also have a High of that Tyrant also. So I have a lot of good threats available, which is great. We can see a Blast here, but if Blast kills Glutton, it was a card, which is great. All in all, just a very, very good spot for me. So here's Blast on the Glutton. Okay, discard Smashing. It's now only 4 lands and an Opus. Could pitch the Opus here too, honestly, but decides to keep the Opus for the high roll potential of Inada. And there's the Inada, so pretty big draw, but of course I had the Power World kill lined up. So sick draw for Jean Manuel, but of course I have the answer lined up, which is great too. I draw a Connoisseur, and now it's kind of interesting. I'm sorry, I managed to do both. So I decide to ditch the land here. Do I ditch the land? I don't think I do, actually. I do. All right. I draw Town Razor. So I don't know if I like that, actually, because I could have cast the Connoisseur and the Power Word kill in one turn, and now I can't. That feels like a mistake to me. Oh, I'm sorry. Power Word costs 3. Never mind. My bad. My bad. Again, past Jim, playing a tournament and focused, much smarter than current Jim. So, smart play by Jim. Kill the Nada, get the thing going, and now I got some attacks. Now we play a Connoisseur. It's going to get stroked, but whatever. At this point, we have multiple answers available, or multiple things going on, too. So say go. Again, Opus not doing much here, which is great. Another land. And again, Opus is a very, very powerful card, but if you're able to pick apart the synergies of a deck and kind of keep them off their mana, keep them off Cold Pendragon, keep them off of Inada, it's a very expensive card. Very expensive card. Draw land, play Town Razor, and now I get to do the old Town Razor copy with Kiki Jiki, which is pretty good.
Bingo!
Pretty good. And should seal the deal here for game number 2. And there you go. So, pretty sweet game. Very bad hand for Jean Manuel to start with. Had some pretty timely draws, and my hand was also good. So, sideboarding for game 3. Nothing changes for me, I don't think. Just going to keep it the same. Pretty happy with my my interaction suite and stuff like that. So, looks pretty good. And game 3 for the last undefeated player in the tournament. And my opener is not great. So we're on the draw here. And I've got Kaido, Connoisseur, Fable. So I have a couple good 3-drops, a couple good 4-drops. Mana really awkward because there's no duels here. So I have no double red or double black yet. No 2-drop, no disruption, no duress, no counterspell on the draw. This is a pretty ugly hand. And I could see people keeping this hand because it's just 3 lands, 4 spells. But I mulligan this hand here because I'm just not doing enough. Against an actual control deck, I might have kept because the game can go longer. But I really can't afford for this Hinata deck to get going and start Magma Opusing and stuff like that too. So I mulligan this hand. On the play, it's a little closer, but on the draw, I think it's way too bad. You know, John Manuel also has multiple Jawari disruptions, negates. So mulligan to a much better hand. Now we have Duress, we have Rahilda, which is great. Much better hand. Very happy with the mulligan. Good discipline mulligans here for me in this tournament. I think I mulliganed a lot of really marginal hands that were good choices. So we see the Ruins. We see turn 1 Duress. Yeah. The old miss. The old 4-creature, 2-land hand. Pretty painful on the mulligan. Not gonna lie. And of course the Smoldering Eggs also block the Rahilda really well. So my hand's pretty bad. Pretty bad here. So we see Crossroads here. And Crossroads coming in tapped. Because no red source for egg just yet. But not that important, honestly. Looking at a Scry. Figuring it out. Besides the bottom Flamebust Bolt. And draw land. So you can play Rahilda here and say go. And there's Goldspan Dragon. Now we see red again. So we see a Scry. And now I've got eggs into Hinata's. No spells yet for all these spell creatures. But again, not much going on for me. So good news is I have the Kaido. So Kaido can get down to draw some cards, which is pretty good. Of course, Rahilda's not getting through, unfortunately. But the eggs blocking the Rahilda. Eggs block Rahilda and Harvester. So my clock is null here. I just have no clock. So even though they're not like doing much with it, spell wise, they're just blocking everything all day. So think for a bit. Figuring out what side my lands that come on here, I think. I'm sorry, I'm stacking. So attack, block, but you gotta try. And we're gonna play my I wanna keep the double red, I think, for my Town Razors, because I have no double black cards in my deck anymore, but Sorin out. So play Clearwater on blue, play Kaido, draw a card, get things going. I could have played Fable here, but I don't really have a use for the mana, and I wanted to draw some cards. I also know Hinata's coming down next turn, probably, to attack my Kaido, so I want to get the card draw going immediately, so I can try and defend it if I draw a removal spell. So we draw Trespasser, we draw land. Not ideal. Game's not looking too good here. Now we can go Harvester plus Fable, but we can't really attack with Kaido either, which is kind of annoying, and now Kaido's vulnerable to the Hinata if I don't draw. So I could draw and discard here to protect it, which is pretty good. So draw Town Razor, which honestly is pretty good, because Town Razor can at least block. So Town Razor can block the larger dragon-esque creatures in play. So good draw. Going to discard a non-Town Razor card here. Play Town Razor. And then have a blocker available to protect Kaido, which is pretty important. Although without an attacker, Kaido's not nearly as good, which kind of stinks. It's also awkward because I know that John Emmanuel has a second Hinata in hand. So if I kill the first one or trade with it, it's like actively good. So I don't want to block Hinata. Even though it's a card I want to kill, it's kind of a weird spot where I kind of don't want to kill it. So, fire off the burning stuff. Cathartic Pyre of a draw. And this is kind of a weird spot because Pyre can hit Planeswalkers. But I think John Emmanuel declines to do that here. Tough spot. Live look into the face cams here. You can see a little bit of pressure. Thanks for following Old Georgie. So big thanks for John Manuel here. Again, big spot in the match. And we're actually going to see Hinata come at Kaido here by itself. So this is a tough spot. Because again, I know if I block here, John Manuel just plays another Hinata, and it just feels awful. So I declined to block here. Decided to let Kaido go to 1, whatever. Kaido's not really that important here. It's a little hard to protect. So Little Stinky, first time chatter, what's up? Thank you. Thank you for the congratulations. You're allowed to use Untapped in the tournament, yes. And I had it on, yes. So, not going to block here. Again, really weird spot. Because I know killing Hinata is really important. But I can't kill the second one anyway. So, why kill the first one, basically? You know? So, Kaido goes to 1. Now, Jean Manuel could finish off the Kaido here with the Pyre. But decides not to, which is a little interesting. But the Kaido isn't that important anyway, so it kind of makes sense. We see that. We see another egg. We see a land here. We see a little bit of the anti-synergy here between Smoldering Egg and Hinata, where Hinata makes the cards cost less, and that makes Smoldering Egg cares about the mana spent for a card, not the CMC. So it actually puts less counters on the egg, which is pretty funny. So it decides to leave the Kaido in play. I draw Duress. And, of course, I know one of the cards in hand. I don't know the other 2. So, allows me to attack here. And this allows me to draw off Kaido again. But, of course, the Kaido is going to just die next turn regardless. But, get to go for the attack. Rahilda's not blocking anything anyway, so I might as well attack with it. So, big tanks. Let's speed this up a little bit. We're going to go to 1.5. Can pause when needed. Definitely a complicated match, so. So, damage goes through. 4 to 14. Draw a card. Draw Stroke, which is a great draw. Now, it's important to note, however, that all of my targeted spells cost 1 more because of Hinata. So, Duress costs 2. Stroke costs 3, which is an important thing to note. So, play land. Fire off this Duress. And, mulligan to 6, miss on 2 Duresses in a game. Don't feel good. Don't feel good. But now I'll at least know the hand. Here's Goldspan. Snap the Disdainful Stroke on it.
Get off my plane.
Hinata kills the Kaido, but now we're kind of like racing a bit. So the land is burning. And so far this game, I've been able to kind of keep pushing pressure and apply some damage. So now, John Manuel down to 8 with a burning land in play, which is pretty good. Fire up a new Kaido, draw a card, draw Voltage Surge, which is actually pretty good, because I can kill one of the creatures here. Play Harvester, get a blood, say go. Kaido phases out, so it can't be killed this turn, which is great. And now, a lot of pressure on John Manuel here. Still has second Hinata. I've managed to do a good job this game, which I think the thing I'm most proud of this game is never killing Hinata. So this second copy never came into play. So even though I mulliganed this game and had 2 Duresses that missed, I sort of had the virtual card advantage of this Hinata just being dead the entire game. So, Town Razor and Harvester here. There's Kaido. Again, I don't really want to attack and trade with Hinata, but now I can go for Voltage Surge and try and kill it and push more damage is pretty good too. So, pretty interesting spot here. I also have the Den of the Bugbear available as well. Decide to go for the Surge. It gets negated. So, okay. One more counter on these eggs. Eggs have been pretty underwhelming. And now we can just kind of like play Fable and say go. We plus the Kaido to keep it out of range of Hinata attacking, which is pretty important, I think, too. And now we're going kind of wide. And with Jean Manuel at 8 life, we have a Harvester, possible Fable token, possible Ninja token, and also the Den of the Bugbear, all lining up. Obviously, the downside to leaving Hinata in play is that if Jean Manuel ever draws a Magma Opus, I'm screwed. But I'm kind of screwed anyway because there's two Hinatas regardless. So decided to make a Ninja and make a Fable here because if this Hinata attacks my Kaido, I'm almost like happy about it, you know? So like Kaido's good and all, but now at the point with Jean Manuel at 8, it's very important in Magic, all right, to focus on things that actually matter in the game. And while Kaido is really, really good, at this point in the game, the card draw of Kaido isn't that important. What's important is me closing this game out and winning the game. So if Hanada attacks Kaido here, it's one less blocker. They can play their second Hanada if they want to, but now they only have one anymore. And now I can offer the trade or just have a kill spell. So here's Hanada to kill Kaido. Again, I've already given up on Kaido at this point, which is fine. So I think for a bit here, but I had mostly made my decision that Kaido was not important anymore. So I gotta think for a bit, but ultimately going to allow Kaido to die here. And John Manuel's forced into a spot now where he has to just play a second Hanada or he's dead. So feels bad, man, but that's just what you got to do to not die. So second Hanada, Legend Rule, great. I draw Harvester, and now I have a Fable discard too. Just gonna snap discard both these cards. Now Kill Spell wins the game. So neither of these cards are particularly good right now. Just gonna discard both, I believe. And also my backup plan is that if I don't draw a good spell, I can just fire up the Bugbear and attack for 1,000,000. And the Hanada has to block the Town Razor, which is good. And the other blocks aren't great either. So discard both. Discard both. We draw Kaido Voltage Surge, which is insane, honestly. So Surge is exactly what we were looking for. Now I can attack with everything, make a treasure, sack treasure, Voltage Surge. And once I make this attack, you can see John Manuel knows exactly what's up. Because I wouldn't make this attack without Voltage Surge, because obviously the card I drew wasn't a kill spell unless it was Voltage Surge. So really, really good spot here. And I kill this. And now there are no good blocks anymore. Hazard can kill the 1/1. The 2/2 and 3/2 can get blocked by the eggs, but now down to 4 with essentially nothing in play, and a really good spot. A really good spot to save at least. So there's your blocks. Down to 4. Say go. Play Kaido also. Draw a card. Sorry, I actually make a ninja here, because the ninja plus the Den of the Bugbear is lethal. So make a ninja, say go. Don't need any more cards at this point, and there are no Wrath of Gods in John's deck list. So feels weird to make a ninja not draw on the spot, but draw the Abrade, not good enough, and I believe that's it. At 4 life, can't kill the dragon, and can't beat everything else coming through as well. So there I am as the last undefeated player in the tournament. So, next video. Talk to me. Now's your time for chatting, because I got to get my next thing loaded up here. Sandblock's great. We're not watching Sandblock right now. So, Town Razor is just good. It's not really about the aggressiveness of Town Razor. It's more so just that it's a good utility card. It's big. It closes games out. It turns off creature lands, etc., etc. So, next match. Keep going here. If you're studying, welcome to the stream. My name is Jim Davis. We're going to go over my matches from the Pro Tour, and you're all great. The Nabo, Venata, and Eggs. I mean, both. An Egg's still a good card, but did I feel increasing pressure when I was feeling undefeated? No. Just play Magic, What's up, bro? Thank you. All right. Let's go. Next match. Oh, I'm going to have to hit that. So next match here is against... I believe it's Z. Oh, hey, it's me. All right, let's go to our match here, please. It's a little weird that they, jeez. Any day now. Here we go. We're going to pump this up to 1.5, I think, too. All right, so we see Z here is playing the Mardu deck, the more popular version of the Fable of the Mirror Breaker deck. And didn't feel like a great matchup for me, because the wedding announcements are really, really good. So we'll see. Play a lot of arena games, yeah, it's kind of what I do for a living, So my hand is okay here. Of course, being a 2-lander is not ideal. Want to curve out, want to get things going here, but definitely, multi the Harvester, got a 2-drop, got a few kill spells. The kill spells aren't great here, but they're fine. Draw Braid, so we draw a kill spell, fire up the Harvester, and say go. And they play a Tainted Adversary, which lines up decently well here. Now, we draw a Harvester. Unfortunately, we don't draw our land, which is pretty bad. which is pretty bad. Only counts my main account. And now not good here. I go for the attack. They want to block, sure. Play another Harvester and say go. Now Harvester can kill larger things. They're not going to block too. Whatever's fine, honestly. So not ideal that we're a little behind on lands, but go for the trade. Play this and say go. And we see possible Skyclave here. Wedding Announcement, very, very good. Very, very good hand for Z here. Very, very good hand. Most of the things you want. You know, decent spread of mana. Announcement is great. Fable is great. Skyclave is fine. Verse is good. So I just get a Skyclave here. Deciding to go for the defensive play rather than the more offensive engine play. I draw a land. Great. So now we're actually in this game. Before we weren't really in the game. Now we are. So draw Pathway, which is great. And now I want to fire up the Pathway and play the Fable most likely. Try and get that ball rolling. So there you go. Adventurer is the draw. This is not a full-on Venture deck, but it's just playing a few copies of the Adventurer's 2-drop. The Martyr deck is basically base black-white, splashing red for Fable. Our testing team's Martyr deck was mostly red-black splash white. I know Morgan McLaughlin played that deck in the tournament. We're probably a little bit off. Didn't really get there. So Skyclave in, offer the trade. Make an announcement up. Now I draw another land, and now we're actually in pretty good shape. So now I've got a Kiki token attacking safely. I've got some removal spells. Trespass is pretty great. We're going to loot away at least one kill spell here because we don't really need that many kill spells against them. Josh, reset month, 2 months more a month. Appreciate it. Thanks so much. You discard at least one removal spell and probably the land also, honestly. I'm pretty aggro with my Fable discards because I want to be able to keep drawing spells and not get flooded. So discard. I'm drawing 2 cards. I'll probably draw land. Exactly. So very happy to discard lands and don't want to get flooded. So here comes the Goblin. In for 2, make a treasure, which is great. Play Trespasser and leave up the Voltage Surge. Probably play the Hive of the Eye Tyrant as well. This is not the actual Venture deck. This is a Mardu mid-range deck. They're just playing a couple Triumphant Adventurers as a 2-drop. Just the best possible 2-drop. So we have Surge up if we want it. I don't necessarily want it, but if we do, it's there. We see a land draw for Z, and now the game feels a little better for us. You know, this announcement is still quite good, but it's a little bit slow. Here's a Fable. And now we see the Adventurer as well. And we have the kill spells to mop this up. And the fact that that some of their engines are creatures, and we have kill spells obviously is great. Draw another Bolt, which is not ideal, but honestly their board's so creature isn't even that bad. So now I get the fire in for an attack. We got to kill the Adventurer first, I believe, and then just happy to make some attacks, make some trades here. Want to keep Reflection alive. Unfortunately, their last card in hand is a Verse. I don't know that, obviously, so my Reflection's not going to live, but in decent shape here. Also want things to die now because I don't want this announcement to flip and have all our things be bigger. So want to be a spot where I want things to die. Z just takes it all, which I actually like here a lot because just want to wait till next turn where the things are bigger for announcement. So get it for a chunk. And now we have our Hive of the Eye Tyrant, our Reflections, and a couple kill spells here. Kind of want to maybe Surge the Skyclave now before it's bigger. So I don't need to sack a resource, but we'll see. Got a Blood first. Draw Connoisseur. Great draw. Great draw. So now he gets to play Connoisseur here. Hit that last card in hand. I don't know it's a Vanishing Verse, but whatever it is, it's gone. Great for me. Now I see a second announcement, which is good, but now I have access to Kiki plus Connoisseur. Those who don't know, it's a lock in your opponent's draw step. You can draw step, copy the Connoisseur. They discard the card they drew every turn, unless it's an instant, which is awesome. So, pretty big part of the deck here. Fable's going to look for a discard. Going to pitch the announcement, which I think is smart. It's not really affecting the board that much. Maybe not. I don't know. We'll see what they do. I actually don't recall what they did here. I can see the allure to want to discard this because it's not really affecting the board that much right now, but it is pretty good. So I decided to keep it. All right, so they attack with the Skyclave. This is a pretty gutsy attack. Honestly, this is a great attack. So bluffing the Wandering Emperor here. And I really don't want to block with my Connoisseur because I want to keep the lock in place. So this is just a stone cold bluff. Just a stone cold bluff here from Z. Except for, I guess, also wanting to draw 2 cards. Or want to draw a card. Or 2 cards, I think could be a thing too. Yeah, I guess I don't want to draw cards. So it's a semi-bluff. I call too, sure. I guess it's not much of a bluff. I'm obviously much better when I'm focusing on playing and not talking. But, so they go for the attack. I decide to block. Because I think it looks like a card drop announcement, I guess. I'm not that scared of Wandering Emperor, I suppose. Also, just copying Trespass is pretty good too. So, the announcement and draw 2, which is pretty good. Looking for a kill spell for Kiki. They miss, which is great. And now we have the Connoisseur all set up as well. We're going to copy our something here. Going to copy Connoisseur. Now they have 2 cards in their hand, so we want to just like get the cards now. Obviously, if they drew land, I don't know that, but they discard a land. Now I know the other card's also a land, which is pretty good. And we're going to kill a 2/2. I wish I kill everything in attack here, actually. At this point, we're just trying to close the game out. So, do that and slam. And I believe this is actually just lethal, right? All right, sweet. So, I found that even though Wedding Announcement is pretty good against me, the deck's pretty decent at kind of like getting ahead of it and forcing it to be like, you know, you get to block, have to block here and there. And it's funny because, like, while they drew 2 cards that turn, I think I would have been unhappy. I would have been sadder if they actually had 2 more 2/2s in play. I think it happens a lot, where I think Wedding Announcement's actually worse when you draw the cards, because being on the board's so important. Like a free 2/2 rather than drawing a random card that could just be a land, you know, kind of thing, but whatever. So, we see the deck here. They've got, Wandering Emperor, Valky's pretty good. Some Sorens, bringing in Soul Transfer. Soul Transfer was phenomenal in the mid-range matchups. I wish I had 2 of them. Soul Transfer was super, super awesome. Pretty easy to get 2 cards off of. Killing Planeswalkers, killing anything, exiling, was super, super sweet. So, yep. Splashing Red just for Kiki in this deck, and the backside of Valky. Because Kiki really is that good. It really is that good. So, I Shaver Hilda here. I actually think I end up cutting the Blood Tithe Harvesters. Or do I? Maybe I don't, actually. I think I did for earlier. I bring in my Meat of Massacres. I gotta answer the tokens from Wedding Announcement. Transfer and Soren are good. Bring in Duress. Cut the shitty spot removal. The shocks aren't very good. Can't afford to 1-for-1 when all our things are like tokeny and stuff like that. So, see our opener here. And again, it's not great, but I think this is fine. I've mulliganed weaker hands in the tournament so far, but the problem is that this is a mid-range mirror. They're not really going to pressure us super hard. I have a Massacre to mop things up if things go bad. And also on the draw, too. So we see a decent hand for them. We have Adversary and a Fable, which is pretty good, and some Apparitions. Thinking about the Scry, they want land number 4. They do. We draw land, which is not good, obviously. We need to draw some spells. Let's play tap land, say go. Play tap land, say go, Jim. They play land Adversary. We draw another land. Not ideal. Definitely looking for a spell in these first 3 draw steps, you know. Most of my deck is cards that cost 3 or less, so almost any spell would have been great there. They attack, they play land, they play Fable, so pretty good draw here. And we draw another land.
Somebody's playing a prank on me.
So, not ideal. Definitely when I kept this hand, the plan was to draw at least 1 spell in one of these 3 turns. The good news is I have this Massacre to like maybe mop things up if things go really bad. And that was kind of the impetus for keeping the hand. It was like, all right, even if I fall behind, I have Massacre at least. But the Soren and Bankbuster have other plans, unfortunately. Yeah, I think Paper Matter is obviously more fun than online is Rain, but is what it is. There's Bankbuster, draw a card. Obviously, I draw the 3-drop on turn 4, which sucks. But now I get to play like Town Razor or something like that. Just something in play just to kind of like hopefully trade off and get this Massacre set up. Because I can't Massacre just yet. Also, Town Razor can live through a Massacre too. So, pretty sure we just Town Razor here and try and stem the bleeding a little bit. Again, I would like to hit a creature on me with Town Razor, but don't have the option here. So, play the old Townie. Let's burn a land down. Target one of the duels. Probably the black duel. Not sure what I'm thinking about here. White duel? Sure. Whatever. 6 of 1, have it as the other. They draw land off Bankbuster. Bankbuster is really, really good here because I'm not really applying any pressure and they have plenty of time to draw cards. They draw an announcement, which is great. And now they can Skyclave my thing. It's actually pretty good for me. So they decided to Skyclave my Town Razor, which is really good for me because now I mean Massacre is even better, so I get a 4/4 off of it too. So they fire up the Bank Buster, attack for a whole bunch here, huge attack for 8, and then post combat gets to play an announcement, I believe, and draw a card. Gonna play Sorin instead though, and Sorin's obviously very good here. So Sorin, top card, which is smart. Play around the Massacre. So even if I have Massacre here, I still have a Bank Buster and a Sorin in play. So play land, got a Massacre. Still pretty good. I gain 4 life, kill all of her stuff, and make a 4/4. The 4/4 could block the Bank Buster and pressure the Sorin, which is nice. But they're still gassed up on cards here. They tank for a bit. Is there like a... Try a little faster. Don't be here literally all day. So they play the Connoisseur, hit my Sorin. They make a token, and now we're just kind of like slipping farther behind, obviously. Oh. Wasn't me. One sec. There we go. HG. Sorry about that. Draw another land. To this point, now the Fable is really important because the Fable can discard 2 of these lands. Fable is basically just draw 2 cards right now, which is really important. So I have to lead back the 4/4 because I can't really afford to take much damage next turn because I'm just at 10. So in a spot now, if I get the Fable, I can clear my hand up a little bit, which is pretty good. But Skyclave, probably going to answer that. Here comes the little Vampire, dinking in for 2. Make a Vampire, and Skyclave Fable, which sucks for me. Which really sucks. Play Announcement, and make a token, not draw, which is important, I think. Make a token. Ditch the Burning Land, probably. Might just keep it, honestly. Not under much pressure. Gonna just ditch it. And we draw a Trespasser, which is pretty good. You know, it's something. But unfortunately, not really enough to push through. I think we needed those loots off of the Kiki to like have enough gas to get back into this game. So right now, basically everything for Z has Sorin, has Bank Buster, has Announcement, True Emperor, has the board and flyers. And this game's going to be over pretty quickly, I think. Down to 5. Tap 3, play another Announcement. Gonna draw 2 cards off the announcements. Yada, yada, yada. And few lands here, not gonna do it. Can't actually cast the Emperor, but can draw a Bank Buster anyway. I draw Power Word Kill, which is kind of okay. So I can kill the Apparition and get a 3/3 back. But at this point, the writing's basically on the wall. I just can't really afford to pressure their Planeswalkers. They even have a Hive in play. So they actually just have everything. And I think I like try and attack Sorin here, hoping for a double block, but I don't even know at this point. I think it's point. I forget about the Bank Buster here too. I just screwed up at this point. The game's over. I'm kind of just like going through the motions. Just forgot Bank Buster, and this game's just over. So I think I didn't mind trading with the Connoisseur and gaining a life, but also trades are good because I have Massacre in play, so all trades are fine. So I just kill Bank. I just like sheepishly kill Bank Buster because I screwed up. Like whatever. They draw a card. The game's been over for a long time. So they do that. They draw Valky. So they have actual everything. So they have Tybalt also, and we're going to a game 3. We're going to a game. Just get back to game 3 there actually. So we're on here forever. All right, so on to game 3. On to game 3, and my hand's pretty damn good. Pretty damn good. We've got Rahilda into Kaido on the play. Couldn't ask for more. Couldn't ask for more. So, pretty good hand for Z also, though, because there is the Bloodchief Thirst here to answer my Kaido. I mean, answer my Rahilda. So here's Rahilda, so they go. And now we see Thirst. If they couldn't kill this Rahilda, we were in pretty good shape here. Although the Adversary can also block it, too. So thanks for a bit here. Decides to go for the Thirst. Safer play, because if they play Adversary and I kill it, it's pretty bad for them. But now I get to play a Kaido and make a token and get that engine going. I've got a Connoisseur and Town Razor lined up as well, which is pretty great. So even though Z's hand is pretty good here, we got our engine online and don't have a way to deal with it just yet, which is great. That's kind of the cool part about Kaido also, is that it's just kind of like an engine in and of itself. It can trigger itself by making an engine, which is sweet. So there's a land. There's a Fable, which is fine. And now we draw Connoisseur, which is excellent. Attack. Kaido draws. Play land, play Connoisseur. Great blocker for Kaido. Now, if they kill the Connoisseur, they can, in theory, kill the Kaido. But what are you going to do? What are you going to do? So, Connoisseur hits Spider Queen, which is huge. Best card in their hand for sure. They draw Cave of the Frost Dragon. Kiki for a little loots. Discard Cave. Possibly Adversary here. Do have 5 mana with the 2/2. I guess that requires them losing it, but discard that. They draw Duress. A little Vindication here. A little Vindication for our last match. If you missed it in the last match, I cast Duress twice. Adversary is a main deck card. They're just playing a couple Adversaries in the main deck as a 2-drop. It's good against Runes. There were Adversaries in this Grixis deck. Some of my teammates played Adversary as their 2-drop. I didn't like it. Adversary, Bankbuster, go. So no Duress just yet. But now we have another Connoisseur, which is awesome. And we also have an attack with Kaido, which is great too. So keep that ninja going. And this is just the power of Kaido in these matchups. Kaido is just so good. So keep that Kaido ball rolling. Draw a card. Now we're way up on cards. Play a land. Play Connoisseur. Hit their biggest card. Have a blood to do. A little flooded, but the bloods help, obviously. Connoisseur is just unbelievably good. Just such a good card. Play lands, they go. Got all my colors now. And they draw Valky, God of Lies, which is not bad here, honestly. They're going to fire off this Duress. I got 4 cards in hand. I probably got some good spells here, right? Probably have some good spells here. They also want to keep mana up for Bankbuster and possibly cast Valky, so... There's Bankbuster, draw a card. Looking for a land to cast Valky. Missed. Now, the Treasure Maker can attack to make a mana here if they want, but they don't. So, discard a land. Draw Soul Transfer, and I have... Sorry, no enchantment yet. Just an artifact. I have Massacre, though, which is pretty good. And now I can actually set up a Massacre, which is pretty sweet. So I can Massacre away the Kiki and the 2/2. We got to kill Kiki. Can't allow Kiki to live basically ever. So, got a Massacre here. The decision point is what attacks and what doesn't attack. I think I end up attacking with 1 Connoisseur and 1 Ninja, because I do want to keep the blocker back to protect Kaido. So, and they have the Bankbuster in play too, so they can threaten Kaido next turn off of a Massacre. So, attack here. Adversary blocks, which is great. And now we see a nice clean board. Draw a card. Draw Hive, which is cool. Also, meet up for 2. Clean the board up. Gain some life. Have a good blocker. Play Hive, and we're in great shape. And again, we can blood away a land here too. And now actually we have the artifacts and the enchantment for Soul Transfer, which is also pretty great. So Soul Transfer is like fine just casting it. But if we get to do both, that's really, really sweet. That's really, really sweet. So draw Bankbuster, which is a great sign for me, obviously. And now they're just way behind. Kaido, MVP this game. If you ever wonder how good Kaido is, here's how good it is. Big thinks here. Tough spot. Tough spot. They know I have Town Razor also. So playing Valky is a little appealing, but should I go for Fable? What's more important, Kaido or Connoisseur? They're both very important. I think Connoisseur is more generically better. It's just always really, really good, but they're both very important. So now I get to attack, keep the Kaido ball rolling, draw a card. We draw a power word kill. And now I can just like Soul Transfer, rebuy a Connoisseur, which is awesome. And even though killing the goblin isn't like that important, just like the 2-for-1 here, it's a 3-for-1, which is pretty insane. So do this, play land, play Connoisseur. Just keep casting Connoisseur over and over again. It's kind of like Siege Rhino-esque. Just want to keep playing it over and over and over again. Such good value. Such good value. So they discard the announcement. They have Valky. They're now 1 land off of playing Tybalt, but at this point I'm so far ahead I don't think it matters, actually. Cute thing here that they can actually play Valky, steal my Town Razor, and flip it immediately so I can't kill it, which is kind of cool. Which ends up happening, but just not enough to get through this board. Just too much stuff going on. That's kind of this is kind of the goal of these mid-range decks. Your goal is to make a board with so many things your opponent can't deal with. They can't beat the creatures, and the Planeswalker, and the creature land, and the cards in your hand, and everything else. Happened to me in game 2 where they had all the stuff in play. This game is happening to them. So they steal the dragon, make Valky into a dragon, but again they can't really block. So Get to untap. Got Kaido for days. Power Word can kill the Kiki regardless. They could have fired the Bank Buster to attack Kaido, but I would just block probably, or just have it take it, honestly. It doesn't even matter either way. So, go for the attack here. I'm going to try to keep the ball rolling. And could fire up a creature land here.
Was fun watching you this weekend, Jim.
Thanks, D. Appreciate it. Thanks for your sub. Firing up the creature land here means that I get to put them down to 4, which is pretty awesome. Still get the draw as well. I like this. Almost forces a trade on the Tyrant as well. So, just going to exile a non-creature. I guess I draw a Connoisseur. I mean a Trespasser. They could Bank Buster and trade, which is totally fine. I'm sorry, I Power Word kill now. But I want to say Power Word for the Fable, maybe? I actually don't remember. I'm sorry, I got to kill this. And average down to 3. So now even with Kiki flip, they're just like almost dead. Sorry, down to 4. Draw with Kaido. And say go. And now average is 4. So like we have many lethal attackers, a menace creature, still have Kaido going. And now the Massacre really comes into play because I can't kill my creatures. There's a white, there's a scry. And basically going to wrap it up here. This is for 10-0. 10-0. And there you go.
Game. Blouses.
All right, this is the round 12. I'm currently 11-0. 11-0 here. What's up, Alias? What's up, Manny? Let's pop right into the matchup here against Zach. Zach's 9-2. There were no players with more than with less than 2 losses at this point. I was the only defeated player at this point. So we're playing Historic again. We're playing Auras against Rakdos Arcanist, which is honestly not a very good matchup. They have an infinite amount of removal, just so much removal, and Thought Seizes, etc. But what can I do, right? What can I do? So they mulliganed. They have Thought Seize. They steal my Saram. Probably. We'll see what they take here. So, tough matchup because they just have so much removal. Unholy Heat, Fatal Push, as well as all the discard and Thought Seize and whatever. And I can't really do it with Arcanist either. I beat Arcanist earlier in the tournament, but definitely a very, very hard matchup. So, draw Savior, great draw. I get to put the Obsession on the Savior. Not a very common play. You don't usually do this, but given the context of this game right now with the second Savior, I just want to draw cards and get a threat in play, which is pretty important. And Savior protecting is very, very important. Savior is a very, very good card in this matchup. It's a little awkward against the white deck, so they can exile a lot. But against the all-kill spell deck, Savior's very, very good. So they play land, but they go. They play go. Zach's hand is not too good here. Go blank is actually not bad, but draw Spell Pierce, very, very lucky.
Bingo!
And now you got Sentinel's Eyes, Arcane Flight, Spell Pierce. Kind of awkward because I don't necessarily want to go for Sentinel's Eyes because I don't want to get blown up by 2 kill spells here. But putting the Savior to 3 toughness is very important for future Unholy Heats and things like that, Flame Blast Bolt and so on. So they're going to heat it. I'm going to Spell Pierce here. I'm not going to Savior because I want to have Spell Pierce for later. I'm sorry, have Savior for later because Spell Pierce gets dead fast. Attack for a bunch, draw a card. No interest in putting the extra aura on. Just play a land tapped here and say go. So pretty good start, honestly. I now have a good threat in play. A lot of pressure on Zach to do some damage. We're going to see land, and we're going to see go blank, which isn't bad. That's my hand, and of course, makes Luris a little worse as well. But I have threats in play. And again, this Aura's deck is all about, can you get your threats into play, yes or no? And here we can. Another good draw here in Staggering Insight, and just going to go big on the Savior, because we have a protection from 12-4 anyway. Attack and draw. Kind of a weird game. So it's not often you win a game with this deck without playing a Saram or whatever. You don't normally put the pants on the doggy, but just how this game ended up playing out context-wise. Again, Zach's hand pretty bad here. I think this is a pretty bad matchup. I got a little lucky, but this is the matchup where I got the most lucky of the whole tournament, I feel like. You see my reactions in it, whatever. So they hazard to kill my protection spell. So now I have no protection left, but I'll also destroy a bunch of cards. They're at 1, and the game's basically just over. So pretty good first game here. Just play Spirit Dancer, play land, buy Luris. And there you go. So kind of a steal in game 1 here. Zach's hand was pretty bad, which is fortunate, of course, So go to sideboarding. Reach says, you think Auras is good versus Arcanist? I don't really agree. I mean, like, I beat it both times I played it. If their hands are good, I think you're just, like, dead. But pop on over to second game here. This is, I believe it was a sideboard bug. They had to, like, buy time or whatever, but So, sideboarding is done. I bring in Cerulean Drake, and I think I brought in the punishments also. And I cut... I don't remember, honestly. But look at his hand here. It's pretty bad. And it really sucks to mulligan against a Thoughtseize deck. But this hand's just too bad. We're on the draw. Can't even cast the thing on turn 2. Much better hand. So, obviously sucks to have the Fortress tapped, but having Sentinel's really, really good. So, there's Inquisition, which isn't great, obviously, but... Draw Savior, which is fine. So, Glacial Fortress, not ideal at times, but is what it is. Double Creature Land and Channeler, which is pretty good. We draw an Aura, which isn't ideal. Just rocking out over here. Just jamming to my tunes. Spitting bars. We see an Arcanist, which is not good for me, obviously, because Arcanist has the ability to cast spells from the graveyard. We can't really stop it. Play land. And now we kind of want to just get this Sentinel bigger, because we want to be able to draw off the spells. The dog comes in too. Also need to make sure we have enough things in play where we can block this Arcanist and kill it if it attacks, which is huge. So they draw a Swamp. They can't cast Chandra, which is pretty funny, or the Pyromancer, but they have Kolaghan's Command. Now, we have a Blessing in hand we can't currently cast, but we have the Sentinel, of course. And not to spoil anything, this is probably the Lightning Helix moment of the tournament. Pretty nice one here coming up. So, Zach thinks this through. And Zach decides they want to fire up the Arcanist, I believe, and push, I think. Let's see what happens. I don't want to get ahead of myself here. Sorry, I'm getting a little excited. So discard a land for Channeler. Hits push Sorin. Excuse me. So there's your push. And they get to fire up the push on the Sentinel. They pay it too. We save it. Sure. It's next turn. Sorry. So untap draw Saram, which is fine. And again, can't really attack, so we need to have blockers for Arcanist. And they have a 1-3 anyway. So we could try and attack here and see if they block and try and use Blessing offensively to kill the Arcanist. But I just don't think they're going to block here. So play Saram and just say go. Protection spell up, which is pretty nice. Of course, now there's a push in the graveyard for the Arcanist, which kind of stinks. But I'm in a spot where I can block, which is great. So let's hop on over to the main screen here, so you can see the reactions. So, Failed Batches is a draw. Gonna play it. And now with Kolaghan's Command and push off Arcanist, things are looking pretty good for Zach here. Now, 2 pieces of interaction. One of them really good. We could see Shock Shatter on Saram and Sentinel, which would be backbreaking. So, pretty sick spot. And again, you can see why the match is pretty bad, because they just have so much kill spells. So, they fire up the Arcanist. Target the Fatal Push. Push target Sentinel. And the tax would cost 2, and they decline to pay it. And what do we draw?
Oh, it's Lightning Helix! Oh my god!
Spell Pierce off the top rope. So, we fire up our Blessing here. Protect the Sentinel. And now, they have a 1-mana kill spell here, isn't that bad? But they have Kolaghan's Command, and
Get off my plane.
pretty sick spot. Probably the luckiest draw of the tournament for me. I mean, I'm 12-0. I didn't really need it necessarily. But yeah, pretty disgusting. Now I blow out both their spells, and my 4/4 gets to block their Arcanist and puts them down to almost nothing. So pretty insane. Pretty insane. Go back to our view screen here. But yeah, pretty sick. And now I'm like, I'm not necessarily ahead. I'm in a pretty good spot. We draw Savior, which is a good draw also. To reset the lock here. And I can fire up a Lurrus in my hand. Go for an attack first. They block, take 2, sure. That play right there burned up all my luck for day 3. Maybe. Maybe. Put Lurrus in hand, say go. Turtle, thanks for subbing, appreciate that. New sub. What's your name? Where are you from? Thank you. So we see an end step fetch. They have Chandra and Pyromancer. Draw a Hagra Mauling. A lot of basics here. A lot of basics here. And kind of a clunky hand. Pretty bad against Sentinel as well. So probably fire up Channel here. MTG player, new sub. What's your name? Where are you from? Thanks so much. Gonna play land actually. Remember, new subs. Join the Discord, all right? You're great. What's up, Turtle? Yeah, that was a 6-6 draw. So they discard Chandra and hit Croxa off of their Channeler, which is honestly kind of annoying because now I lose my Luris. It's a pretty big hit here. Pretty big hit for Zach. So now Luris is gone, and they can Croxa next turn. And I'm not really there yet. My board is okay. Pretty good draw. Pretty good draw on the Obsession. But it's a little awkward because now I can draw a card off of this. But once Croxa comes down, I can't really attack anymore. So the Obsession is going to go away anyway. So draw Spell Pierce. A little bit worse at this point in the game. Play Sentinel, say go. So now I have a lot of taxing going on, which is pretty sweet. But again, with the Croxa available, it's a bit of a null game state where I can't really do that much. So play land. Hardcast Croxa. And of course, I can't Spell Pierce that one, so that's going to go away. And now I'm kind of stuck a little bit. So we draw a land. And like, I can't really attack. Now, the problem is I want to keep that Obsession on my Sentinel. Because A, it's a good card. And B, it keeps the Sentinel tax high. Right now, the tax is currently 4. Which to me, also, I can draw cards, which is pretty good. So I decide I'm going to fire with the 1/1 token here. And just chump attack to keep my... I'd rather have the Obsession on my Sentinel than this random 1/1. So fire the attack. Zach's a little confused, decides to just block, obviously. It makes sense at this point. So do that, just play the land and say go. And in a bit of a null game state, you know, kind of just hanging out. Need to draw an aura. I have the protection, but don't really have the forward progress. And Zach has the Croxa, has a lot of mana, has a Pyromancer in hand, and has a Channeler going too. So it's kind of a scary spot. We see land, and we can see the Channeler reveals a push and a land. So push basically just kills the Savior. Although it is awkward because now the tax comes into play as well. See what the... I don't remember what happens here exactly. Because push is super awkward. Push costs 5, and Zach really wants to cast his Pyromancer. Just draw some cards, so... Decides to go for the land. The token attack to keep my Curious Obsession alive. Curious Obsession is an enchantment where if you don't attack this turn, if you don't attack during your turn, it goes away. So Zach draws Chandra and Spikefield Hazard off of the Pyromancer, which is pretty good, honestly. Because that kills Savior, and Chandra's pretty good also. However, we retop deck and draw Punishment. So that's awesome. Now Crocs is out of the equation. I can attack again. Draw off Saram. It's a brick. But now I get to attack and force chump block. Here comes Sentinel. Gonna want to block here and deny me the life and the card. I believe. Yep. So they chump. We play land tap and say go. They can end step hazard the Savior, but only pay one of the taxes. So I can draw one card here. Sentinel's Eyes is pretty good. It's pretty good. So, say go. They draw a Pyromancer. Now the Chandra can kill the larger Sentinel, which is kind of an issue. And Chandra's pretty good here. Pyromancer is also a good draw, too. So, we can even see Chandra plus Pyromancer, although, again, the taxes are there, too. So, Sentinel just showing its true worth in this matchup for sure. I keep playing lands for 2 reasons. 1, because they have Crocs on their deck, and they make me discard a land anyway. And 2, because I want to have a mana in play to kind of really pop off if I draw another or a Saram effect. So, draw off the one Sentinel, draw off the other Sentinel, draw Punishment Land, which is pretty good. Chandra can kill the Sentinel here. Can also kill the Saram, which is a difficult choice, I think. Kills Sentinel. Here's Pyromancer, so pretty good. She comes into play, draws 2 cards, draws Duress, Flame Blast Bolt. So now things are slipping a little bit. We draw Drake. We're still pushing. Now we have Sentinel's Eyes. We got to kill this Chandra. So Kind of a weird spot where we're going to punishment the 2/2 and not the channeler, because I want to be able to kill Chandra this turn and keep all my creatures. So put the aura there, draw a cartouche, which makes it a null point anyway. And now he gets a cartouche the Sentinel, kill Chandra, play Drake, and pump the Drake. So pretty good spot, honestly. So pump the Sentinel, make a token. Both things kill Chandra. Not even worth blocking. So yeah, there's no reason to block there, obviously. And then second main, we can play Drake. And put the Sentinel's Eyes on it to keep these cards coming. Just keep them coming. Cards solve all problems. You can see why I want to have my lands in play. Because I want to have enough mana to do all this, basically. So we just play tap lands, they go. So in a pretty good spot, once again. The Bolt can take out the Drake, which kind of sucks. But we're still making pretty good progress. And now we draw any enchantment. We're in great shape. And also, they kill the Drake. The Sentinel's Eyes goes to the graveyard, which is the same thing as drawing an Aura. So we can go Spirit Dancer, draw 2 next turn, which is great. And Croxa and Seasoned Pyromancer are still under their punishments. So they revealed... I actually missed the Exile on Channeler. They get Den of the Bugbear, sure. They aren't on there, I don't think. They're everywhere. You can find them online. So they duress me. They got a miss. And they play a land. And now they don't got much going on. They're just tapped out completely for this turn. So we draw a land. They didn't kill my Drake. So we don't have access to it or of a turn. However, we just got like a good attack here. Spirit Dancer and a land. And now the thing is we have so much stuff in play that they can't kill everything most likely, which is good. Attack for a bunch. They're at 3. Play Spirit Dancer. Play land. Still, I believe, yeah, still one counter on Croxus. Crox has to tap again next turn, and then the next turn it's available. Draw Arcanist, but not particularly great here. Pyromancer activation also available from the graveyard for more chump blockers. Channeler can also pitch this Arcanist too, but kind of risky as it's a blocker. So draw Savior, which is pretty sweet actually. The punishment counters are like under it. You just can't see it. If I mouse over it, you can see it. Savior is an okay draw here. It's not great. Oh, I'm sorry. It's actually just lethal. I'm lying. I'm making stuff up. Sure. I forgot they were at 3. And there you go. 12-0 and undefeated. Undefeated in the Swiss of a tournament. There's 16 or 15 rounds in the tournament, but how the structure works is that once you have 12 wins, you're locked for top 8 and get buys for the remainder of a tournament. So an undefeated run through the Swiss, 12-0, 15-0 officially, but 12-0 in matches played. And we're going to keep our analysis going here, but the top 8's going to be in a separate video. So you two folks, love you, like, comment, subscribe, and you're all great.